Hello everyone. In this video we study finite groups and some well-known theorems on finite groups like Lagrange's theorem and Cauchy theorem. Finite groups are group having finite number of elements. Finite group have many interesting application in physics, chemistry, computer science, electronics and communications. There are several mathematical concepts in which we use mathematics, in which use we this concept of finite group. The main theorem on finite groups are Lagrange's theorem, Cauchy theorem, Silo theorem, Clay theorem. Here we will study about Cauchy theorem for arbitrary groups. Actually, we have already studied Lagrange's theorem, so we will give just a layout of Lagrange's theorem and its converse due to motivation where we want to study Cauchy theorem because somewhere converse of Lagrange theorem is false and there is a scope when Cauchy theorem tells something about the existence of element of a particular order. So we will focus on Cauchy theorem. There are some examples of finite groups. In item number 3, the symmetry group of degree 4, S4 is there. It has 24 element, and the alternating group of S4 is A4. It has 12 elements, and there is also a subgroup Klein 4 subgroup of A4 which has 4 elements. Lagrange's theorem tells if H is a subgroup of a finite group G, then order of H divide order of G. So we can think about the converse when a number divides the order of a group, then there exists a subgroup of G or not of that order. So you see here order of G is n and k is a number positive integer that is dividing n, then there exists a subgroup H of G of order k. This is the converse of Lagrange theorem. This is theorem number 2, which is not true for arbitrary finite group. In this previous slide you see that E4 has 12 elements, but it has no subgroup of order 6, as I have written in this. For example, we take a group G equal E4, then n is 12. So by Lagrange's theorem the possible orders are these, but there is no subgroup of order 6 of G because of these cycles. So we will not discuss this in detail, but we here note that the converse of Lagrange theorem is not true for arbitrary finite groups. So if n is a prime, then there is a no doubt converse is true. If n is a composite, so we have seen above, the converse is false. So there is a natural questions when P divides order of a group, then there exists a subgroup of G of order P or not. This was studied by Cauchy, and this is known as Cauchy theorem for finite groups. First we introduce Cauchy theorem for finite abelian groups. Here we give proof of it by mathematical induction. So let G be a finite abelian group and P divide order of G, then we are looking for an non-identity element x such that x raised to power p equal e, or we may say that order of x is p, and subsequently we can say that there exists a subgroup of order p which is generated by this element x. When we apply mathematical induction, so first of on n equal 1, we see that there is no prime dividing 1, so we can assume the result this follows trivially because there is no such situation appearing. Further, one can take n equal to 2 or 3, you find the result correctly, because in case of n is equal to or 3, G becomes cyclic group of prime order, and therefore the generator will be the desired element. Okay, so we assume that the result holds for all abelian groups whose order is less than n, and P divides the order of the subgroup. So now we assume H is a proper subgroup of G such that P divides order of H. There may be a chance when P may divide order of H or P doesn't divide order of H. So first we are considering the case when P divides order of H. Since H is a proper subgroup of G and order of H will be less than n, and P is also dividing order of H, so by induction hypothesis we can say that we can find an element X in H which will be the element of G in fact, and will satisfy this property x raised to power p equal e, and in this case we have the result. Now in second case, in the last square dot, if G has no proper subgroup H such that P divides order of H, it means that P doesn't divide order of H for every proper subgroup H of G. Now we search x in G such that x raised to power p is e. So let order of H is k, and k is a proper subgroup of G, so we can assume k is lying between 1 to n. By assumption p doesn't divide k. By Lagrange's theorem, k divides n, and therefore by divisibility n can be written as kt for some integer t, and t will also set lying between 1 to n. Since G is abelian, H will be a normal subgroup of G, and therefore quotient group of G with respect to this subgroup H can be defined, and order will be T. P doesn't divide order of H, so P it means that P is not doesn't divide K, so P divides T. P divides T, and T is less than n, and it is order of the quotient group G mod H. Therefore, by induction hypothesis can be applied on G mod H, quotient group of G with respect to this subgroup H, and therefore there exists an element x bar belongs to this quotient group, which element will be different from identity, and pth power of this will be identity. So x in you can see fifth line, there exists x bar belongs G mod H such that x bar is not equal to H, and x bar pth power equal H. Now we take x bar belongs to quotient group, so it will be a right coset. So x bar can be taken as xg for some g belongs to G. G cannot be identity. You can see from here how if we take G equal E, then what will happen. So x bar is a right coset Hg, G belongs to G. Now you see Hgp is Hg whole raised to power p, and therefore it becomes H. It this implies that GP belongs to H and order of H is K, so GPK is E. Now take X equal GK belongs to G. We claim that X is our desired element. Then we compute X raised to power P and we finally find that X raised to power P is identity, so that X will be the desired element if it will be different from identity. So if it is identity, then GK equal E, and therefore HGK also becomes H, but order of HG is P, so therefore P will divide K. But by our assumption, P does not divide K, and it contradicts the fact that we have assumed that X equal E. So X is not equal to E, and therefore we have find an element different from identity in G satisfying this property X raised to power P equal E. So this was the proof of Cauchy theorem for abelian groups. So you can see here in last problem, show that theorem 2 is true for finite abelian groups. It means that the converse of Lagrange's theorem holds for finite abelian groups. This can be done by mathematical induction easily. Now we take Cauchy theorem for arbitrary groups, finite groups. So we will follow the same way. For any n equal 1, we have nothing to prove. Suppose the result follows for all groups whose order is less than the order of G. So if G is abelian, then by previous theorem we have the result. So here we will consider only non-abelian case. So G is a non-abelian group. Now if G has a proper subgroup H such that P divides order of H, then by induction hypothesis we are through, means the similar case we have discussed in theorem 3. Now suppose that there is no proper subgroup H of G such that P divides order of H. Since G is non-abelian, so center of G will be different from G. So there we can assume an element A belongs to G which is not in center because center is different from G. So for this element A doesn't belongs to the center, normalizer will be a proper subgroup of G satisfying this property. Now our question is, since we have taken that P doesn't divide any proper subgroup of G, so P does not divide order of normalizer. So P doesn't divide order of normalizer, P divides order of G. So P divides order of G upon order of normalizer, and it will happen for every element A which is not in center, and therefore P divides this sum given in blue expression because it is true for all elements. P divides order of G upon order of NA for all A does not belongs to center, so therefore P divides their sum also. From the class equation you can see P is dividing both the terms on right hand side. P divides order of G, P divides this expression in blue. So right hand side is divisible by P, so left hand side is the order of center. So order of center is also a multiple of P, and it means that the center of G is a proper subgroup of G, and which is a contradiction because we have taken that P doesn't divide any proper order of any proper subgroup of G. So we have a contradiction here. So this contradiction leads us to give this remark if G is a non-abelian, P divides order of G, then some proper subgroup of G must be divisible by P, and the result will follow from the first case of the theorem, and hence theorem follows. So we mean to say that there is no such situation when P doesn't divide order of proper subgroup. So this theorem ends with this concluding remarks. Now we give an alternating proof of this for non-abelian case only. So Cauchy theorem for non-abelian group. So if G is a non-abelian, center will be different from G. So there will be an element in G which is not in center. So for that elements, all those elements which are not in center, we can collect normalizer, and we see that there will be two situations. Either P divides order of normalizer or P doesn't divide order of normalizer. If P divide order of normalizer and normalizer is a proper subgroup of G, so by induction hypothesis we have the required element. In case when P doesn't divide order of normalizer, so P divides this expression in blue. So P divides this. So by class equation, as we discussed earlier, by class equation P divides center of G. So P divides center of G, and center of G is a proper subgroup of G. Therefore, by induction hypothesis, center of G will contains a non-identity element such that x raised to power P is equal to E, and this proves our result. Okay, now these are two books we are suggesting here. Now in next video we will discuss Silo theorems. Okay, thank you.